What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday, and I don't think it comes to anyone as any surprise that today we will be talking about a lot of the third-party reveals that we've been seeing as of late. There's a lot to talk about, but perhaps not in the way that you would expect. I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about with the reveals themselves, but I do think that the reveals will lend themselves to conversations in the future on this channel on a future Saturday. More about that will be revealed very shortly. Speaking of reveals, hope you guys enjoyed the Nerd Rage talk yesterday. If you did, look forward to more because we enjoyed doing it. And if not, we'll just do it on Patreon. Unless they didn't enjoy it, in which case we just won't do it. The uncut version of that conversation is on Patreon. Speaking of which, housekeeping-wise, I got some exciting news. Are you ready? So, the Sherpa Unicron blankets have already arrived. The wovens have not, but they will be arriving shortly. They have shipped to me. The Sherpas are already here, and while you're watching this, they will be going out, and they turned out quite nicely. So, I'm going to show them. We do actually have, I think, one extra. I think one person canceled their order. So, yeah, dude. Quite nice. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if it's in frame or whatever, but they came out nice. If you ordered a Sherpa, I am getting them sent out to you as soon or right as you, just about as you hear this voice speaking to you now. And like I said, the wovens are slated to have arrived at my house, I think, by the time that you heard this. We'll see. Fastest turnaround I've ever had in my life. Very grateful for it. And I got one Sherpa left, so email me if you want it. At least I think I do. I might put you on a holding list and double check and triple check, but I think I do. Real quick, also the Armada Megatron. I have to say, a lot of people said it should have come with the maniacal laughing face. It has a maniacal, like, angry face. So, for whatever reason, it fell out of the bag and I didn't see it until after the review. It does come with one, so if that was what was holding you back, go ahead and buy it. Sometimes I doubt when people say, like, if I had this little thing, then I would have bought it. And then, I don't know, put your money where your mouth is now. It has it, so if you want it, buy it. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get into this. We'll go through the reveals, and then we'll come back and sort of say goodbye and maybe talk about some of the things we're going to be talking about soon. One last thing, though, before we get into this. Every time I do this, there's somebody like, well, you didn't talk about such and such. I'm not talking about every reveal that's ever taken place in the history of the last 2 weeks. I'm talking about the things that have been revealed that I think are worth discussing from my point of view. There's no sense in me sitting here and be like, and then this happened, and then this happened. If I have an opinion on something, that's what we're going to talk about. If I don't have an opinion on it, we're not going to talk about it. So if you see it like, well, why didn't he mention so-and-so? Because I have no opinion on it. For instance, the Kang Toys Predaking. I have a lot of opinions on that, but I've already told you guys every single opinion I have to varying degrees of completion and fruition on that, so there's no need to just keep beating that dead horse. Shout out to Esteban and Caleb and Kali. They were all able to get together this past weekend. Hopefully they got to see the reveals in real time and all that. Wasn't a whole lot of excitement surrounding this stuff, it seems, but there are definitely some big pieces that we do have to talk about in some regard, and some pieces that are going to lend, like I said, to future conversation. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. So we'll start with Bananaforce, which is my favorite third-party company name ever. Not really, but it is funny. And I loved their Prime they did. Their, like, car robots Prime, I think it was, or Robots in Disguise, whatever that is. And I loved it. I loved everything about it, pretty much. So they're doing another Prime, which may be a shocker, but Primes are prime real estate, you know what I mean? And this is one of those G1 continuation ones, God Bomber, John Ride, something or other. I don't know. I'm very familiar. I feel like I've reviewed this thing a number of times. Not this particular one, obviously, but this rendition of the character. I kind of know what it's about. It's not necessarily my bag, but it looks fantastic to me. And if it's anything like their previous release, I have no doubt that it'll be built phenomenally, painted phenomenally, and everything that you would expect. Non-transforming being one of those components. But yeah, the company had a really strong start, and I hope they continue, and I hope this kind of lives up to their previous set reputation. So HBT Toys, who I actually had the pleasure of interviewing one time on a Sit Down Saturday that you can go back through the archives and find. Looks like they still have a plan to do this G.I. Joe Transformer crossover line. They showed images of a Hound, which is not one of the images they've been teasing for the past couple years, but a new design, new to us anyway. And I think it looks good enough. I think the alt mode looks, G.I. Joe-esque, which is like what it's supposed to. And then they look like they're creating little kind of G.I. Joe
S characters that can sit in it as well. I wish them the best. They're nice people, but being prolific has not been one of their strong suits so far. But maybe I can get them back on and have another conversation. I do a little update as to how they're doing and what the progress has been, if they'd be willing to. Iron Factory was there in attendance with a new Prowl mold that'll obviously yield repaints out the wazoo and a new Grimlock. And I'll tell you, I think they've needed to update their Dinobots for some time, but this is in their kind of samurai line. Iron Samurai series, I think is what it's called. To me, not quite as cool as their normal stuff, but impressive nonetheless. Or maybe cool in a different way is the best way to say it. And I think the Grimlock looks great. Not necessarily what I would want from Iron Factory in terms of an update regarding Grimlock, but great nonetheless. And I think their Ratchet and Ironhide look fantastic as well. And they also showed another combiner coming, a Lyokaiser. Interesting choice. But I think it looks perfect. And their Bruticus was perfect. And so, I mean, perfect might be a stretch, but you know what I mean. And so was their DJD combiner, I think. Like, they make a good legend scale combiner. So I have no doubt that this one will be similar. And I think it's G1 enough where if it works scale wise, it might be able to cross over to the New Age and Magic Square audience as well, which is smart because I'm not sure that this character is on New Age or Magic Square's radar at all. Bingo Toys. So I gave them a rough go of it with their Shockwave. Don't like it. Don't care for it. Don't think it's well made. And I think it smells like a KO. And I think it was trying to be a little tricky about how it marketed itself. I hope that that's not the case with their upcoming Ironhide, but only thing I can base it on is their previous release. But I will tell you, this thing right here has my attention. I think it looks amazing. I hope it's made with better materials and a better build quality because I might be tempted to pick this up. I think the robot looks amazing. I think the vehicle mode looks amazing. I hope nothing more than for this company to make me eat my words. I'm asking for them to prove me wrong. Next up, we have Planet X. Now, Planet X is coming with a Lion for their Star Saber that will combine for the Super Mega Mode. Doesn't have a place in IDW. The Star Saber is from IDW design-wise anyway. Flame Toys made the same mistake. I hope that this one is made more sturdy than the Flame Toys. It's cool. The robot mode looks cool. The jet modes look cool. The fact that the jet modes can combine is cool. Like they're doing everything right. Don't get me wrong. And I think it looks amazing. And I think that they're on the right track. My concern is that they throw the baby out with the bathwater and it tarnishes the reputation and legacy of what their Star Saber was, which was a really solid, well-made figure. And I would hate for people to look back in memory on it with negative thoughts or feelings based on what the combine mode did to it. It's a lot of weight that bot has to hold with that whole other thing sitting up on its shoulders. And I just hope that it handles it. I hope that it plays it smart because it's not a necessary piece for this specific design, in my opinion. But I hope it does well. Fans Hobby released some sort of combiner that I feel like I've seen around, but I have no idea what it is. Looks good enough. This is their first take on a combiner that I'm aware of. So I'm just sort of mentioning it for the sake of I'll be watching it closely, but I'm definitely not in on this. I don't care about this. But I'm sure for people that do, they've probably been waiting forever for this and probably thought they'd never get it. So I'm happy for them in that regard. And then Fans Toys came in with their fully revealed in-person Superion and Menasor. Oh wait, no they didn't. They came in with a blaster, which looks good, I guess. It looks tune accurate. This is going to spark a conversation for me that's coming about the future of this stuff with going super tune accurate. Because this other third-party blaster that's making its way around, is it Deformation Space? I can't even remember. You know, it looks pretty close to this thing, you know, like almost identical, the same way like Jansen and Tesla 2.0 looked very similar. And it's like you get to a point where there's no soul in this stuff because they're just all tracing the same lines. And I feel like that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I think a lot of people are excited about this. I'm excited for them. I'm not excited about this. This didn't do anything for me. Waiting on my dead end though. Looking forward to that. And a couple Superion bots would be nice to see as well. I will say though that he looks super well articulated. So hopefully they've heard at least that criticism, at least from me, if not from other people, that they've kind of gotten a little stiff over the years. I do like that some of the more recent stuff looks like they're loosening up a taste. I think that's a smart move, one in the right direction. And the tapes all look good, but I'll be honest with you, for me, they're not the scale that I want for my Masterpiece tapes. It's cool that they fit in the chest and they'll do all the kind of gimmicky stuff that you want them to do. I get that. And I think they look great for being that. Don't get me wrong. But they just don't, there's nothing about it that appeals to me in that regard. I'm waiting for those MMC tapes. And those MMC tapes were there and looked awesome. The eject and rewind. So I'm hoping that those are all really moving along. And then they teased an Ultra Magnus, which once again, I'm excited for those that are excited, but it doesn't do anything for me. I'd be more excited about a dead end. Have I made my point clear on that? I hope so. All right, let's move along. Moon Studios showed off their full train team. The train looks awesome, the bots look awesome, and the combined mode looks awesome, and it looks stable, and it's pulling off poses. Like, I heard that this set was the talk of the town at the event for people that were there, and I think it deserves it. I think it's fantastic, and I think that they're kicking ass and releasing pieces and getting the combiner done, and it looks great. It looks stable. I hope that it is in real life and it's not just pictures playing tricks on me, but everything about it seems optimistic and looks fantastic. I hope that Predaking is on the horizon, but this looks beautiful. Super excited about this. So then we get a new company, Vectron Lab, and they're showing off a Devastator. Now, while I don't find this necessarily the most exciting character to reveal, there probably is an argument out there for an update because the re-releases, second, third, fourth editions of Constructor are having all sorts of QC issues. There's people like myself that wouldn't mind having a different set of bots. So I can see the need for this character. It's just not the most exciting because I just feel like I'm just beat over the head with Devastator. I'd like for them to construct some new characters, you know what I mean? But it looks cartoon accurate. You know, and we're getting ready to lead right back in this conversation. Like I said, we're going to expand on this in the future. So I don't want to get too much into a deep dive here. But I think it looks good. I think it looks toon accurate. They also have a Megatron coming. Same sort of deal, right? You know what I need? What I'm in need of? What's short on the third party side? A Megatron. Oh, no, wait. Make Toys has done it. X-Transbots has done it. DX9 did it. Takara did it. New Age did it. Magic Square did it. Whatever. I just get tired of looking at the same characters, man. I get tired of seeing the same characters. Speaking of which, more Devastators. This time from X-Transbots. Once again, I can totally see why we are in need, or it could be relevant for another set of Constructicons, so I'm not mad at it. I'll probably go in on these for robot mode. I do think they look good, or cartoon accurate anyway. I wish there was a little bit more sauce on it, but I get it. Everybody's going for the same thing. Once again, I don't think there's that big of a difference between these and the Vectrons. Aesthetically, I think they will be different size-wise and stuff, but aesthetically, just surface level, because they're all kind of tracing the same lines, right? And they're already coming with 8 different repaints of this, right? They're getting an orange one, a yellow one, and a toy color one, and a Target Master version, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of business as usual there. But obviously we'll be tracking, you know, the trajectory of these Devastators as they get released. It's just like, it's exhausting, man. Like you're exhausting the fandom. We'll move on to something that I am kind of excited about, and that is, looks like they got a Throttlebot set coming. A little bit blurry of an image, but I guess they're not quite ready to reveal it all, but it is cool that something different, you know, something unique, something that we're not getting 1,000 different versions of every 2 seconds. So I applaud them for that. I like when they take chances like that. MMC, in my opinion, had a lot to show on their table with those ejects and rewinds, but I wasn't smitten with this, which is their female Megatron Armada. I know that they've said that this line isn't just all females versions of male characters or whatever, but that's what it's kind of shaping up to be so far, and it's not super exciting either. I don't know. They make some weird decisions sometimes. I had to say that, I mean, I guess it's a clever enough reuse of the mold, but doesn't do a thing for me. Shout out if it does anything for you. I wish they would have showed a little bit more of their tapes and stuff because I couldn't be more excited about them. I think that they look fantastic. So yeah, you know, time will tell. I do want to say that there was a Seeker there from Make Toys, and apparently Make Toys is going to be releasing more Seekers. You know, I get Seeker exhaustion the same way I get Devastator exhaustion, Megatron, Optimus Prime exhaustion, Soundwave exhaustion. But if a few of these Seekers is what it takes for Make Toys to get back in the game in some real capacity, because I do feel like it's desperately missing Make Toys. I feel like Make Toys is the company that the third-party landscape is desperately missing and needing. If that's what it takes, I wish them the best. So I advise any of you guys that if you want the Rainbow Coalition of speakers to go ahead and get every single color that your little heart desires from Make Toys, they could use all the support that they could get, I would imagine, if that is their intention, which I believe it is. So with that being said, why don't you let me know what you're most excited about from the reveals and who you were most surprised not to see anything from. Me personally, I was kind of surprised not to see anything from Magic Square and New Age, being as though they're kind of leading the march in third party these days, for better or worse. For me, anyway. So I was a little weirded out not to see their presence. So with that, I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.